Hello, hello, hello. What is up? Fine people of the YouTube world. My name is Brian, and it's Wednesday at 8 p.m., which means we're doing another live coding stream. I'm going to be building out a serverless application in AWS using JavaScript and VueJS as the front end, JavaScript Lambda functions. Over the last couple weeks, we've been building out a lot of the backend stuff and trying to get the CloudFormation template, the SAM template, actually starting up and working properly. So we got a lot of that last week. We got a lot of the DynamoDB stuff settled. I ran into some issues with how I wanted to structure the schema, and I was planning on doing that on tonight's stream. However, I put in a decent amount of work over the last week, and I actually have a decent structure set up, so we're going to be going over that today. I'll be covering everything that I changed. I also figured out how to use Lambda functions with AWS Cognito, what are they called? Event triggers. So this way I can actually pull information about the user into the JWT token, into the claims that comes through, so I'll be demonstrating how I did that. And then I also wanted to show off a little mini project that I started working on that kind of lets you mock up the JWTs, the JIT tokens. It's pretty cool. I'm going to release it probably within the next week. I'm going to publish it and just kind of let anybody go to town on it. The only other real update I have is that my second video for the Coding Node.js series is out. Coding Node.js API series is out on my YouTube channel, so you can check that out. There's a link in the description below, kind of towards the bottom to that playlist, so check that out. And after we cover everything that I just talked about, the main goal for today is to get the onboarding portion of the application completed. So if you think when somebody signs up for the application, they're going to get an email to validate their email. They're going to be redirected to sign in. And then I need to onboard them. I need to gather some information from them so I can create an account in the system. And that's largely what we're going to be going on today. And then if we get time, I'm going to start working on the integration of Square customers. So the users of the application will be able to tie in their Square customers into the application so they can sync their clients up, I guess is the goal there. So yeah, let me kind of just show off what I've been working on so far. So NoSQL Workbench, I think I talked about this a little bit last week. This is the tool I found on AWS's website that you can use to visually see what your DynamoDB tables look like. So I have a local repository, and here's the table that I'm working with, and then here's kind of the data that's in here. Might be a little hard to see. I can't really zoom in on this a little bit, I don't think. But anyway, the schema that I've decided to go with is if you look under, there's an account ID, which I might change this to owner ID or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. And this is going to change for sure. But under entity ID, what I have here, so account ID is my partition key. So I'm pretty much guaranteed that all the data that relates to a specific account is all going to be saved together, which means it should perform. DynamoDB should perform pretty quick under that circumstance. And then for entity ID, this is the first 4 characters of this string inside of here identifies what kind of entity it is, and then the ID is just a unique GUID that's assigned to that entity for uniqueness. Now the cool thing is I can perform queries against DynamoDB using the partition key. So all the data from the partition key should be stored together. And then if I'm looking for like just customers, I can do a begins with query on DynamoDB just to pull back the customers. What's up, Diamond? We'll see you back in a little bit, man. And then the last thing, everything from that point should be pretty specific. The only difference is right here in this number 7 here. You see that I have a system for the account ID. That's because for user records, I'm storing that under like in a system account. So I know that all the system information is going to kind of stay together. So yeah, that's kind of how that's going to be structured and set up. I got a lot of things done on that. If I go into the code, you'll see I have this shared library that I started working with, and I have a DB helpers folder here. Maximize this, get some more room here. And you can see inside of this, inside of here, I have a create entity, create system entity. I got to build out some more of these system entities. But basically, these are helpers that I can use to perform CRUD operations against DynamoDB, which is going to be helpful because I don't need to rewrite that same logic all the time, especially if the access pattern is pretty much identical for every single entity in the system. I need to create an entity diagram. I want to do that at some point. I also want to create a diagram of the architecture how I plan this whole thing to work. So that's one of the things I wanted to demo today. The other thing is the Cognito pre-token Lambda function. So this actually makes more sense to start up in AWS. So inside the management console, we zoom in here a little bit too much. Okay, go to Cognito. Manage user pools. You can see I have my Enviari test users. And if I go to, let's see, where is it? Triggers here. All the way down to the bottom right, there is this pre-token generation. So all these different events in here from I gather, these are fired at various points of the authentication process. And the reason why I chose the pre-token generation is because I have certain properties for the user that I want to store in DynamoDB so I can reference them myself. But if I can get that information into the token claims, which I'll go over here in a little bit too, then I don't have to make calls to the database to receive user information or account information. It's all going to be bundled in with the token when it comes through, and I can use that to perform a lot of my queries. Now there's no risk to anything potentially happening on like if someone goes in to try and fudge their token and change it to get access to somebody else's, it doesn't really matter because that token is sent with every API request that is sent up to API Gateway. And before it even reaches any of the Lambda functions, API Gateway uses an authorizer to validate the token that's sent in to make sure it's actually coming from somebody who it should be coming from. So we're pretty much guaranteed that I'm not really going to run into any issues with if anyone trying to hack anybody else's accounts per se. And that leads me into a particular issue that I ran up against. So everything I'm doing for this is serverless, which means if I'm trying to test things locally, I need to find ways to test the different components locally. Luckily, DynamoDB, we discovered this like 2 weeks ago, that they offer a Docker container that you can run locally on your computer that simulates DynamoDB. And that's where I'm connecting into, minimize this. That's what this guy is here, right? So I'm connecting into my DynamoDB local, which is running on port 8000 inside of a Docker container, and that's where all this information is coming from. Let's see, what else? The API can run locally. We're doing that with SAM, so that's pretty cool. We can run SAM. In fact, if I pull this up and switch over to that process, you can see our API is running on port 3000. Here's all the different functions that it has registered: shipments, customers, addresses, accounts. Some of these work, some of these don't. I'm not entirely, I started adding things and never circled around to finishing them, but we will as time goes on. So the last thing, the one that really kind of tricked me, and I'm like, I don't really know how to do this, is how do I test Cognito locally? How do I simulate the tokens coming into my system? Creating JIT tokens it's pretty common, right? So you have a header, you have the body, and then you have the signature. The body being the claims of the token, and that's where the claims are stored. So what I went ahead and did is I created a little tool here, and this is what I was talking about. It's going to be released. Let me create a new tab here, and we're going to fire this thing up. So cd tools, and then what else is after that? Oh wait, testing, cd testing, and then this JIT builder, JWT builder, npm run dev. Let this thing fire up. Grab some coffee while it's loading. And while this is doing its thing, one of the other cool things that we did last week is we got, I configured my terminal locally to be able to deploy out the CloudFormation template that runs the entire backend API system. So I no longer have to wait for Azure DevOps to do its thing. And it's good for what it's used for, but for testing like this, I'm like, I'm on stream. I don't want to sit here and wait for it. Just let it go. So you can see my Vue app is running on 8082. So let's open Firefox up, and I'll show you guys this thing here. Let's see, localhost 8082. So this is it right here. Very basic. Actually, I got to open this in Chrome because I have some information saved in Chrome. 8082. All right, so this is it here. So you can see I have a redirect to, which we're going to redirect to jwt.ms, just as a demonstration here. These inside of this body here, these are all the claims that I want to send through to my application. So I can modify the JSON here, and then when I click go, it's going to generate that JIT token with it's not really a secret. It's like just it's only used to generate the token, right? But all this information is going to get sent through. I've also set it up so the expiration date and the issued at, those will change. Good night, buddy. Love you. What's that? I don't. Sorry. Good night. kid's looking for his animal. Okay, so yeah, so it's going to create the token, and then I also have a checkbox here that so I can save it. And it just saves it under the well, there you go. I clicked go. It just saves it in the local storage. So if you wipe out your cache, it's going to go away. But it generates this token, and you can see the header is lit up in red. The claims itself is lit up in blue, this is what we're concerned with our application. And then the signature is this green portion down here. So when you're generating JET tokens, you have a secret key, something really super secure, that you use to sign your tokens. And then when you want to validate that token is, when you want to validate that it's valid, you want to compare the token that came in with the signature that you have, the secret. And if it matches, that means that your server, or the token was signed with the secret that your server knows. Now, on the front end, when I'm building out the front end, I don't necessarily care about the signature itself, right? I'm just taking the claims from the token, and I'm going to display certain elements of the data. So like I have under user properties here, I have my name. That's going to be displayed in the front end of the application. So this way, it looks pretty or whatever. And I might add some other stuff like, the path to a profile image, or the active account is definitely one that I'm going to add in here. So I can display that stuff locally, and then I can use that active account field to generate other API requests back up to API Gateway to request data down. But API Gateway is the thing that's going to actually validate the signature. So when the token is sent along with the request, if the signature doesn't match, it's going to reject it right at the start, which is really neat because now we don't have to worry about our Lambda functions consuming any resources, which means we don't have to pay as much for them. So yeah, that's kind of the goal. And then this whole deal here, this JIT builder, I've got some more options I'm going to add to it, and then I'm going to publish it out for anybody to use. I have not seen, I could be wrong, but I did a little bit of digging, and I did not see anyone out there that had something like this yet. So I was like, it took me an hour. I threw it together real quick. Okay, that is everything I wanted to demo thus far. So now you can see update DynamoDB schema. This is done. I'm going to pass that guy over to done. And then I have this onboarding experience. When a user is signing in for the first time, the API flag should set as a new user. We have that already. And then the user should be redirected to an onboarding page where they can complete a form. That's what we're going to work on today. And this is, I know I have it in the description, but it's basically acceptance criteria. Okay, and then I can demonstrate exactly how that works too, and why this JIT builder was really kind of important for me testing this. So before I started the stream, I went ahead and fired up my local environment, so I think I should be able to do this. Let me make sure. I got to check what port it's running on. Hold on, VS Code. This first guy here, this is running on 8080. Okay, so let's go in here and let's go to 8080. You can see I got signed out probably because, why did I sign out? I don't know, but anyway, let me sign in. So if I go to, you can see here's my Cognito URL, and it's going to redirect to localhost 8000. So Brian at brianmorrison.me, .me, and a super secure secret password. Let me zoom in on that a little bit. So when this loads, Cognito generates the token, and then if we look at the token itself, I think I have a function that saves the claims off, or it pulls the claims so I can get it. Let's see. Here, application, local storage. That's the extension. Okay, here's my token. So this is the token that it actually generates from AWS. We'll get rid of that, and if I go in here and I paste that token in there, you can see the pre-token generation Lambda function is checking the database, checking the DynamoDB database to check to see if that user record exists or any properties are assigned to it using this, like something like this. So it'll do a query with system user underscore and then the GUID for the user. And this GUID actually comes from DynamoDB. That's or not from DynamoDB, from Cognito. See, Cognito username. So it's going to compare that against what's in the database, and if it doesn't find any information, it's going to add this is new user into the token claims, and that's what I'm using on the front end to check to make sure that the user is onboarded properly or not. Now technically, if you fudge that, you could get into the onboarding, but I don't know why you'd want to. All it really is doing is it's doing a post back into the API. So we've got our onboarding deal here. This is what I didn't want to do. I'm going to move over to Firefox for this guy. And actually, I'm going to I like doing all my development in Firefox because reasons. So we'll copy that. I'm going to paste those claims in here. And if I say http // localhost 8080 OAuth reader, which is the endpoint that I can use to redirect to that. It basically processes the token and does what it needs to before the application figures out where it needs to go to. We'll save the config and click go. You can see I'm redirected here. And my name is displayed up here. That's pulled from the claims. I have a function in there that pulls from the claims. I have a logout that I set up already, which that actually triggers a logout operation in Cognito. Okay, so let's see. I've got, and then what I'm going to end up building out is this nav bar, probably on the left-hand side here. Nav dashboard, shipments, customers, and I haven't really decided what else I'm going to add here. It's going to be pretty basic to start off with. I have a whole other list of ideas that I haven't even had time to sit down and process yet, but we need to get the basics done and out so this way I can publish this thing and get it being used. But this is that onboarding flow is what we're interested. So if I come in here, I'll get rid of user properties. And I'll show you how this works. If I do is_new_user, true, go, I'm redirected to my onboarding page. Okay, so I gotta figure out, this is where we gotta take time and figure out what I'm gonna do here. So I need to use my name. So I guess Brian Morrison, 123 Fake Street. So you know what I usually do is I use the Sears Tower. Or Harris Tower, Willis Tower, there's what it's called now. I still call it the Sears Tower, I always forget what it's called. So the address, I don't know where the address is actually. I don't know why I went to Wikipedia for this. There we go, 233 South Wacker Drive. You'd think I'd remember this because I use this on a lot of my test code, dummy code, demonstration, whatever. So I hit submit. Now submit, I think, does a callback to the accounts. I don't know if I have that wired up here. So VM users undefined. That's because we added Vuex into our management model. So let's figure out what's going on here. So ideally what I'd want to do when this happens is I want to post back to accounts and let the user be able to create an account from that. But what I'm also thinking I might need to do for security purposes is when the user's create a token that I can use to validate that the user is indeed new. I don't know. I haven't decided how I want to handle that yet because I don't want someone creating multiple accounts quite yet. Eventually, I will have them create multiple accounts because, you know, if you need multiple accounts, you can invite people into different accounts and whatnot. So it's going to be multi-tenant, but it's going to allow users to switch between different accounts. Because if you have like an employee or a contractor or something that's working on account A and they need to switch over to account B, who's a different company, I want to be able to allow them to do that. But that's way far out. That's way after this. But I'm trying to get the base framework set up to do that, but I don't know if we're there yet. Okay, so here is under component, oh no, not components, under modules, and then app, no, onboarding. Here's my onboarding form. I think the first thing I'm actually going to do is I'm going to clean this form up a little bit. I have col MD8. I want to center this a little bit, and I do want to wrap it and just kind of make it look pretty. So let's, instead of that, I need to figure out, I think justify align center is the right class here. Maybe it's just justify center. Try and take a shot in the dark and see if this works. Not here. We want to go into Firefox. Let's go back here. Make sure that our changes took. And in fact, I can mount this inside Dr. Wright. Inspector. Let's inspect this element. So it got justify center, so that's got to not be the right thing. Let's look up bootstrap grid. Bootstrap grid. I know it's justify something. Justify content MD center. Here's what I'm looking at. So this should take that entire column of information and put it in the center, which is going to make things look a little bit nicer. And then we're going to add some more. I'm going to add a background color. I actually had a background color picked out when I was doing this stuff last year. I might have to reference my archives and see if I can get that color right. All right, so let's go back in here and let's get rid of this and paste in that new class name there. Head back in. Okay, now we have this centered, so that's cool. I'm eventually gonna, I also want to put these things side by side. So you got your first name and last name can be side by side, and I might just do full name. I don't know yet. We'll stick with first name, last name for now, but I might just do full name. Okay, so now that we have that, let's add some stuff in here. So under style, I think I need to set my preprocessor to Sass. And this is a row. I don't necessarily want to do the row, but under the class here, actually we're going to add this into another div here. I'll say class equals onboarding form. Like that. Let's go to the bottom of, there's our button. So this is the end of this form here. Let's take this all and drop it inside of here. And we'll fix our spacing here a little bit too. I like keeping my code very clean and nicely formatted. Okay, so now down into our style, we'll say onboarding form. And just to start things off, I don't think I need that. Double check over here. No. We'll say border 1px solid. Let's just do gray for now. And we'll do padding. We'll do, how about 10 pixels? And border radius. We'll do 5 pixels just to start. We might tweak that out a little bit. Let's see how that looks. And this whole thing, I don't think I have inside of the router, so I think we can do the whole deal. So class container, we're going to add another thing to this class. I don't know if this is going to span the entire thing. We'll see. Onboarding view. How about that? And we'll say, bring that up. We'll say onboarding view. Let's just do a background color. For just to keep things simple, let's do background color of blue. Just to see how this looks. Okay, so there's that. I have to wrap the container inside of a div, because the container is what adds these margins in the left and right. And really, I might switch over to a grid because I want this whole thing to be, I want it to stretch all the way across. Or flexbox, I guess I could use too. Let's change the color for this too. Let's say background color. I like EEE. It's usually a pretty nice gray there. I like that. We're going to add some drop shadow into this as well. Okay, let me see what else do I want to do here. We need to get rid of this thing under the container. So we're going to add another div here. Minimize that, and we're just going to copy and paste all that in there, and then I got to fix the spacing here as well. Get rid of the container here, save that. Let's see what we're looking like. Okay, so we got the margins all the way on the left, all the way out of here. Now let's go for our onboarding view. I might not need to I might get away without using flexbox. Let's go height 100% vertical height, like that, and there we go. Now it's full screen. All right, we don't need some, we're gonna need some padding. We're also gonna need some margin here. So let's add margin for 10px, not margin, margin, like that. Container fluid for full width content. Oh, that's good to know. I think I did know that once a long time ago, but let's go ahead and do that then. I'm curious now. I want to try this. Copy that, paste that there. Just random right there, right? Didn't like something I did. I added a space under margin. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, yeah, that works too. I actually would rather do that if I can get away with less divs. Thank you, good Sir Diamond. Appreciate it. I gotta fix my spacing again. It's one of the cool things about doing live streaming is sometimes people hook in and they're like, hey, try this. Okay. So there's that. Let's clean this thing up a little bit. I think I'm going to want to add a logo up top as well. So we'll add like, we'll do a logo up here. We'll make the form kind of shrink it in and make it smaller. We'll push the submit button off to the right. Yeah, I think that's a good move. Yeah, styling is important, making things look pretty. So I'm gonna want to do form group, but I want to do a horizontal form for the, we'll just do name. No, we do first name, last name. Let's look up on, I guess we could do here, Bootstrap. No, we'll stick with Firefox. Sometimes personal information gets rolled in with my Chrome thing, and that's why I don't like to use it when I'm doing streams, just because, you know, I don't want that stuff getting out. Okay, so not components. Go to forms. Maybe input group is what I'm looking for. I think they should at least have some examples of side-by-side here. There you go, right here. All right, so we got div row, class call, like that. Maybe we could just throw this guy in there. Let's see what this looks like. So I've got a form group. I'm actually, instead of doing that, I'm just going to paste this in here. So we'll get some more text boxes, but I can move the model fields around a little bit too. So yeah, like that. I kind of wanted the information on top though, or at least the labels rather. Damn it. This is kind of what I'm after right here. So form group, form row, here we go. Let's copy and paste this. This is a lot of my process, is sometimes just copy paste things and see how it goes, and then we'll tweak and work on it as we go. Yeah, kind of like this. Okay, that'll work great. So label for, all right, let's start tweaking some of this stuff. First name. And we'll do ID is first name. Actually, I can copy, I think, just all this guy right here and paste this in here. And we'll copy this over here. Put that guy in there. And we'll get rid of these two fields here. And we got first name, last name. Okay, that's looking a little bit better. I'm going to shrink this form in a little bit. We're going to make this a col MD6. And my headphones apparently just died for no apparent reason. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we'll make that a little bit smaller. Okay, I like the sizing and spacing of that a little bit better now too. We got first name, last name. Phone number can kind of be out. Phone number, street 1, street 2 can give you out its own. City, state, zip, I want to be all side by side. So let's just copy this down here. And we'll paste in the city there. First name, not first name. Oh, my label here is messed up too. Let's fix that spacing there. I'm going to add some spacing between these different groups just so I can visually see what I'm working on right now. City and state can be probably a 3 and a 3. No, maybe city can be a 4. State can be probably a 2. Add that spacing there. City can be a 2. There's really only, our state can be 2, because state really only needs 2 fields, right? And I can actually copy and paste this all in here. And we'll just add our col MD like that. Let's see what I want. No, I probably want this to be a, so 5 and 2 is 7. And then we got 5 left. So no, this probably can go away with being a 4. So we'll make our city a 6. Because you only want your grids to add up to 12. So I got 4 and 6 and 2 is 8 plus 4 is 12. Okay, let's get rid of all this stuff. Save that. And here is our form now. So it's definitely looking nicer. I think I almost want to shrink it in a little bit more. I'm not sure. Let's bring this down to a 4 and see what it looks like. Will an odd number work? Man, it kind of does. Okay, I think 5 is our magic number. I think 5 looks the nicest. Okay, so get rid of that. Get rid of that spacing there. And then our button. Our button, I kind of wanted it to be off to the right-hand side here. And we need to add some more spacing at the top, actually. Instead of, here's a row, we're going to do another row here. So we'll add div class equals row, and then justify. I'm going to copy it so I don't have to type all this because I'm lazy. Add that there, and we'll say logo here. And we could say, actually, I'm going to add a div in here too. Class equals a logo, like that, and then we'll move this like that. You got your logo there. I'm just gonna scrape a logo off the interwebs here in a minute, just to put something visually there. I want this can actually be white. And for the onboarding form, we're gonna increase the border radius. We'll say 8 pixels, and then we want to do a drop shadow. So is it drop shadow? It's box shadow, I think is the thing. Let's see, box shadow. Yeah, box shadow is what we're looking at. But this is, there's a box shadow generator I think I just saw. Come on, stop it. Mouse is kind of hopping around here. I think my mouse is on the way out because it's been doing that a lot lately. Box shadow CSS generator. So we want to just a very, very subtle like that. Probably like that. Make the blur a little bit more intense. Let's decrease the spread radius because we really only want it to be a little... I mean, we want it to be like the subtlest of colors, right? All right, so this is probably what we're looking at right here. Let's pop that on there and see what this looks like. Save that. Okay, a little bit of a shadow there. It's a little darker than I'd want, but my blue is darker than I'd want too. I'm going to creep back into my old archive that I was working on before, and I'm going to see what I had set this to. Source, modules, onboarding, main. Holy cow, my spacing's all jacked up here. Scroll down to the bottom. Okay, there's nothing really there. Did I have something in the main for... Yeah, I got all mains all over the place. Or do I have just a generic style? I don't remember. Maybe I didn't make as much progress on this as I thought I did. Than I thought I did. There is one project laying around out there somewhere that has all the colors and everything are really nice the way that I like them. Vuetify. I was using Vuetify before and I ran into some issues with some of their components, specifically their layout components. So kind of got away from that. Plus, I kind of like the idea of doing it myself better anyway. Sign up. No. Home. Nothing there. Man, I really didn't do as much on this as I think I did. I think I started getting some of it, but I don't know. This is an about page. That's helpful. Good job. It's got to be around here. Some public index. I do something here. Got no style sheets reference there. Test order data. That'll be helpful. Got no SAS there or CSS at all. I guess I probably could just fire this thing up and see what it looks like, but I really don't want to right now, so I'm not going to. Here's our states. We're definitely going to need this our list of states here. That's going to help out a lot. Okay, so I have zero idea what I had set my colors to. Well, that's unfortunate, but we'll figure it out. Let's see, Css Gradients Generator. Actually, I think this looks pretty close to probably what I'd use. Maybe I just used this before. Do like that, and then maybe we'll do... No, not radial, vertical. Oh, I don't like the way this looks. This is a little harder to see. Background color, include gradient filter, IE9, include background image. Let's try just putting this in here and seeing what happens. No, I set to vertical. I want a diagonal like that. VS Code. Not the store. Onboarding. Color's blue there. We'll comment that line out, and we'll add another line that... Oh, add another line that contains all that stuff. Save this and see what happens. Chrome. Yeah, it didn't like that. I'm betting because I got SASS, or SAS, I don't know why I spelled it out. SAS background gradient. Just give me something. Background linear gradient. Maybe I just don't need the @includes and everything. I'm guessing that's probably what's up. I think I just pasted it blindly with expecting it to work, and it's like, nah, I don't think it's gonna work. Let's do that, see if that works. Oh, it works, but I don't have I don't have nothing there. Let's just pick one of those colors then, just a lighter blue, I guess. What do we have here? This guy, what's our color? No, that's too bright. It's background image. Maybe it just set to background. Well, this site looks a little bit nicer. Okay, so supposedly this should do a thing. I'm just going to paste this in there and see what it does. What am I missing? Oh, hold on, we got a broker spacing here. Okay, that's better. So now let's take this and this color and let's lighten this up a little bit. So we'd like that. Probably something like that. I'm gonna remove this one altogether. Yeah, because we don't want something like this huge like difference, right? You just want a little, like the slightest of difference, because I think it adds a little bit of pop into the background. Let's try like that. It's a little bit lighter than I would have liked, but I like it. It works. It looks good. We'll go with this for now. I might change this later. We'll probably save this into a variable of some kind, but that's fine. I'm gonna use the same gradient for my little sidebar too. Okay, so now I'm gonna wire this thing up. Oh, actually, let's get a logo. Box logo. You know what? That's fine. I'm not worried about this right now. I'll deal with the styling later. I think we're looking nicer than we were before, so this works. Let's figure out how we can wire the submit button up. So if I do, what would I say, Whacker, 233 South Whacker, and we'll do Chicago, Illinois 60606. Submit that. Let's go to our networking tab. Let's see what we're trying to hit. Okay, we hit local accounts. Oh, cool. It actually did go through. But what didn't load? Okay, so it is creating the account, but it doesn't seem to like VM users undefined, which I think is stored. That's part of the Vuex model. So let's go into store and find out what's going on here. Here's my store. It's passing through. That's null. We'll look in main. Here's my logout function. Map getters is set to view. I wonder if I refresh this, if it's going to work. No, it still doesn't like that. I'm going to need to do this in Chrome. Hold on one sec. Let's just create another one. Guest. Guest will work. That's going to redirect to my Cognito login, which I don't want. I'm going to use this instead. And we'll do HTTP localhost 8080. Oh, hold on. Slash auth reader. Okay, so it works in Chrome for some reason. It's not a bad compatibility thing. But yeah, something freaked out here. Cannot read name of null. Oh, let's see. I want the VueJS plugin. VueJS Chrome plugin. Cannot add extension incognito or guest window. Of course you can't. All right, let's create a new profile. Add new dev. Let's do dog. I like dogs. Go. Okay, so local host 8082. Actually, let's do VueJS DevTools. Chrome. Add Chrome. Add extension. Okay, that's there too. I don't worry about sync. I don't care about that. Get rid of that. And now let's paste in our claims again. Let's go to HTTPS : / oh, not S. Localhost 8080 / OAuth reader. Okay, so that works there. And I got a console. I still got something freaking out. So it looks like Firefox is just like failing right away, whereas Chrome at least makes an attempt. Let's see, where's Vuex? Bring this out. Vuex, state, payload. Payload and name are interesting. Tokens null, user object. Let's find out why this isn't working, or what at least is throwing this name of null. I wonder if it's because it's not. Hey, Pushback, thanks for the subscribe. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So I wonder if this does. Firefox does have DevTools. What am I talking about? Yeah, keep it consistent. Let's refresh. You can see here's my claims, right? So I'm pulling claims properly. Let's see. We got view here. But in here, if you notice, like a set user is undefined, payload's undefined. Okay, so this is the main, which is this guy here. So let's see, when the thing is mounted, I guess we could do created, but I have it mounted. It says let token. I think created is what we're looking for. Let's do that and refresh. No, that's the state for the view function. Let's make sure this is actually being called here. Yeah, it's gotta be. So map getters user. User.name. I'm going to comment that out and see if we're still complaining here. No, we are not. Yeah, so it doesn't seem to like the fact that the user's not set when it's initially when it initially mounts the view. Which is weird because I set this up earlier and it did seem to work just fine. This.set user, so claims is, maybe claims is null. Let's see, console.log claims. No, hold on a second. There's my claims. Claim expiration. Okay, so that's what redirected us earlier, basically saying if the expiration is beyond, is later or earlier than the current date time, it's going to send us to the login. This.set user claims user properties. Claims dot. Oh, wait a second. I don't see user properties in here. Oh, here we go. is new user still set to true? So okay, I know I see what's going on here. So when it first creates the token, it's setting it to is new user. But when I go through the, let's see if I change this and go to user properties. Let's see, that was an object, and we had name, and that was Brian Morrison too. Now if I go, doesn't like that. Oh, maybe this thing's not working the right way too. What are you doing here? Oh. Well, we'll have to fix that. Looks like if the JSON's not formatted properly, it'll cause things to fail. This should work just fine. Yeah, because it's trying to load a token that's already cached. It's loading the token that's already cached. But how am I going to get around that? Because really the user properties inside of the, I guess the user property, hold on a second. I think the user properties are being set when it's mounted. We're gonna have to add some new logic into this created to address that. So if the token is null, it's gonna redirect, right? I guess I can create another function to like redirect to login. Let's see. So we'll do redirect to login async function, and we're just gonna post this guy in here like that. I probably can throw that in Vuex so I can reference this from everywhere. But this is the main module of the entire application, so this will be sufficient for us. So I could do this, this dot redirect to login, and we'll paste that guy in here, and we'll paste that guy in here, so at least we're consistent everywhere. Okay. So if not claims, let's see, if, I guess we can do if not user, because when we're onboarded, maybe we'll get the information back and then we'll store that along with the token. I kind of like that. Hold on one sec. I'm going to do something here real quick. Change. I don't know where my chat window went. Oh well. All right. I still got the chat down below, so I can still see what's going on. So we're gonna have to check to see if the token is not null, it's gonna try and do stuff. If the token is null, so we can leave this. We've got the claims. So if we're expired, we're going to redirect. If user, let's see, I guess claims.user properties, it's not, I guess that just exists, right? That's fine. Then we're going to set the user, and then else we'll redirect to login. I probably could clean this function up, but this is fine for now. Yeah, I think this is good. I think this is fine. This will work. So then in my onboarding form, so I'm creating the account and I'm getting the information back. I'm going to console.log this out after it creates the account. Wait, create account. See in my account service. It returns the data of the account created, so I can actually assign that to a, let's see, I can assign this, so let account equals the account that was created. And I'm going to log that out to see what it looks like. Console.log account. Because what I'd want to do is I want to, when the account is created, I think I would have to grab the user properties and return, like update the user properties and then return those back. So this way I can set the user. So to do set user after account is created. This logic seems simple when you don't think about it, but once you do, it's like You got to account for every little possible scenario. Is new. But the nice thing is once this stuff is done, I mean, it's like you don't really have to touch it then. All right, so we'll fudge this again. We'll hit go. So we got our new fancy pretty redirect form. Brian Morrison and 233 Swacker Drive. And that's Chicago, Illinois 60606. And let's open our console so we can see what's going on here. Submit. And here's the object. Well, damn. And see, we redirected to login, so that is good. But we don't want this to happen. I wonder if I can stop this from reloading the console. I know in Chrome I can. Enable browser Chrome and add-ons. No. I don't see anything that says I have to clear, or I can't clear the console. Persist logs. There we go. Okay, let's try this again. Go. Up Chicago. Submit. Okay, so here is what's created right here. So I got our account ID, I've got our first name, and I got our last name. So what I can do is I can take this and assign that to the set the user using Vuex, and I think we should be in good shape there. Now this redirects to somewhere else though, doesn't it? Oh no, this uses the router, so okay, this is fine. So I can do we'll import Vuex here. What we need to do, it's mount, or no, map mutations, map actions, map. What did I use on the main? Map mutations. Vuex. And I guess we also can see, like, if someone signs in and, well, no, because if they sign in and they get the is new user, they'll be right here, otherwise they won't. So console.log the account. We will set set user. Oh, I gotta map that in. The way you map in so Vuex is the state management system. Excuse me, for Vue. The way that you map in the mutations, which are kind of like if you're modifying data inside of the state, you do that. And then if I understand this properly, when you use a mutation, it will send out an event to the rest of the system, so this way other components can update the view and then use a different way to reference the state itself. So under methods, we want to do map mutations, and this is a function that accepts an array of strings, and we'll do set user, like that. Why are you squiggly? Right, did I do that right? Map mutations, set user. Oh, I forgot. Use got a spread operator for the map mutations. Okay, so it's going to map that in so we can access it as a local function. So we can use set user, and then we'll set user properties. See, I just have the claims, right? So I probably need to get the claims as well. So let's go back in here. We're going to map getters as well. This is how you map the getters using the computed part of the whole component itself. I forget what these are called, but computed means like basically this is monitored somehow by the components themselves. So we want to map getters for user, but we also need to update this to use map getters. Okay, so we want to, oh wait a second, what am I talking about? We don't want to get the user. No, I did that wrong. Get rid of that. We don't need that. Well, now you learned how to use the computer to map getters and whatnot. But what we need is the token service. We need to get the claims. So let's see, token equals get auth token. That's going to create that, but we can do let claims equals await auth service dot get claims. auth service get claims. And then we got the claims, we got the account, so we'll do, let's see, delete claims, claims.is new user. And then we also want to do claims.user_properties is equal to, and then at least we want the name, right? So we'll do, extrapolate this out. Let's see, account dot, I guess I could just do this dot first name. And then this dot last name, like that. And then we want to set user with the claims itself, like that. So the claim should be accessible after this point inside of our state from the entire application, if I have that set up right. So let's try and test this whole updated logic out now. Get rid of that. I don't need to sign in there. Here's our isNewUser token. Go ahead and go on that guy. Error account is assigned but never used. Oh yeah, I forget. ESLint is a pain in the butt, and it doesn't like the fact that I can create things and not use them. I wish it would just warn me about that. In fact, I know it can, and I should go back and fix that, but I don't know. It's one of those things, like, it hasn't become a big enough thorn in my side to want to go back and fix it. So 233 South Wacker Drive again. Chicago, Illinois, 60606. Submit. Okay, so that redirected me again. Question's why? I didn't open the console long enough to persist the logs. Damn it. Hmm, 233 South Wacker Drive. Submit. All right, I need to add some. If I back up, it still has the sign in, probably because user's null. That's fine. I don't really care if the user's null at this point, because it's at least it loads. Headphones are getting a little annoying tonight. Keep turning off on me. Gonna add some things in here. Let's see, no claims. Oh wait, I'm still getting the claims here. So let's see, if token's not equal null. Look, see, the claims are still going to return what they were before because the token's different. So I'm going to add another check in here to see if the claim or if the user is set. So we can say, let's see, if user, if not user, I guess this dot user. Then we'll redirect to login. So if the user does not exist, we're going to redirect to login right out the gate, right? No, I guess not, because if the token claims is that, that's fine, right? I know, but I know what's going on is it doesn't see the user properties in there, so it's trying to redirect. So I guess if not user and claims.user properties, basically saying like it came from the onboarding flow. I think this might work. All right, so let's go back into Firefox. Let's try this again. Back up. Let's go. Nope, still didn't like that. Didn't do expiration date. I knew it was going to. It wasn't going to. Something about this if statement here is not set up right. So we've set the user. Claims that user properties does not exist. So I guess if this dot user or no, let's see. I'm gonna just type this out as like some kind of pseudocode so I can figure out my logic here. So if the claims is a new user and this dot user exists, right? Which means it's been assigned, then this is good. Don't do anything basically. If not claims dot user, I guess we can do else if. Then we can add this in here, I'm thinking. So if that's not to else, just redirect to login. Let's try this. I'm not necessarily, I don't like doing this. I don't like leaving empty if statements here. We might fix that there in a little bit. We could get rid of setup UX because I did that already. And let's try it again. Console. All right, moment of truth. Okay, it liked that. So now that we have that logic in place, I want to fix it. So basically, if we can get rid of this thing up here, so let's reverse this logic. So this is if claims.is new user is true and not this dot user. Then redirect to login. So we can do if, because we want a token to be there already, so I don't need to clear that out. So we'll do if this guy like that, then we want to redirect to login. So that should take care of that last if block. And we'll say if not claims.is new user and claims.properties it's always going to have one or the other. Maybe this one's all I know, all I need. No, because we want if that is true. Then we want to set the user. So it's not a new user and the properties exist, do that. Else don't do anything. I think these three if statements should cover what we're after here. So if the token's expired, redirect. If it is a new user and the not users exist, maybe I want to redirect to the onboarding instead of logging off. Yeah, I think maybe that's what we want to do. We'll redirect to onboarding instead. Basically, because then if that flag is set, then I want them to be onboarded. They're going to need it. So this dot, I think, route dot push. Check onboarding here. All right, let's try this out. All right, so we got our onboarding form again. I really could unit test this, and I probably should, but I'm not going to. I haven't done any node unit testing in a long time, so I don't know. I can't recall immediately off the top of my head how to do it. So, another time. Save it for another time. Submit. Okay, and we're good. Let's do this. Okay, so once we refresh it, because there's no user, then we got to sign back in, which is fine. But if I come in here and I get a new token that has the properties I'm interested in, and we'll set the name like that. Good. That's the logic that I want right there. So basically, we'll reconstruct that what the token's supposed to look like, or at least the user that is the claims is supposed to look like. And yeah, I think that's good. I think that'll work. Is that what I did over here? I use the claims still, right? So I delete the claims is new user, and I set the user. Let's see what we do if we do create is new user. Is new user still should redirect to login. I don't need to test that, actually, now that I'm thinking about that. Okay, this should be good. I think this is what we're after. Oh, actually, the one thing I want to do is on console.log claims, or I can just onboard and then look at what's in the set user. All right, let's try onboarding one more time. So we can pull up view, we can look at the state. I don't got a name there, that's interesting. Set user. User properties is set. I think I got rid of that there. Maybe. Oh no, it still has user.name. What am I setting this from? Am I setting user? Oh, I'm setting user properties as the user. Okay, so not the claims. All right, so let's go back into onboarding, and instead of passing through the claims, we'll pass in. Oh, we actually don't even need to worry about doing this then. Claims.isNewUser, user, we don't care about that. All we really care about is this guy right here. So we can get rid of all this stuff here. The account, we will need to pull that in. So I think under here, let's look at my console. Do I have an account ID? Networking. I just look at the code. I'll see what it are. You know, I'll test it out. All right, last one. Last one. Brian Morrison. Damn it, I didn't open it fast enough. Forgot I needed to do that. Go again. 100th time's the charm. Okay, and here's our response. Let's see, response does include the ID. So here's all the account information that's created. We'll have to update that at some point to take into account the business name, but I have an ID. So I could do, like, I think what I was going after for my model was active account. Let me look here. Because when it creates it, it sets the active account. And when it creates the account, it sets the active account to that account on the user properties. So actually, you know what? Now if I look at the data inside here, let's refresh this. Probably got to just drop and recreate this table. Gonna delete a bunch of stuff out of here. Yeah, execute. see what account came through. EC2. Might have deleted it already, I don't know. Okay, one more time. All right, 2AA. See, I got a 2AA in here. I guess accounts or system probably should be owned, or accounts should be owned by the system as well. Those are really top level items. Hold on, scan. Cancel. It's weird that it's not storing in order. 2AA, here we go, right here. Can I see what this looks like? D22. DD2 is my Cognito username. So that's got to be this guy right here. So I got DD2, I got active account, and I got a bunch of permitted accounts. Let's pull this out into here. I'm going to paste this, and can I format? It doesn't like this JSON, I guess. I don't like Visual Studio's. Hold on one sec. Alrighty, I'm back. Apologies about that. Where was I? Accounts. Let's see if I could find an online JSON formatter. JSON, I know there's one I've used before. Just gonna look at what the data looks like inside of our DynamoDB table process. There we go. This looks better. Yeah, full screen. Look at that. That's helpful. Okay, so here's kind of what I think I was doing. is I was saying for permitted accounts as part of the user data, I've got an array of all the account IDs that the user has access to, right? But I have one active account that's currently being used. Now, these I more or less can ignore for the time being, but you see every time I create one, it adds one to the list. But the user ID is still the same. So what we're going to need to do is use the active account to make requests, or when it passes back the account, or passes back the token, the active account is what all those requests are going to come through as. I don't know where I was going with that, if I'm being 100% honest. I had an idea. I thought I knew I needed that for some reason, but I don't know that I did. So I think we kind of have our onboarding flow for the most part working. Whenever somebody needs to refresh their token, they're basically going to need to sign back into another user, because I don't have a way of refreshing tokens yet. So we might have to do that at some point. But again, since I'm not switching accounts right now, it's not a big deal. So let's see. We've got onboarding working. I think I'm just going to continue work on styling things for now. So I'm going to style out this left-hand side here, and we'll try and make it look a little bit nicer. We're going to move the logout. We're going to move the name, the account name, and everything down below. We're going to move the logout down below. Actually, you know what? Maybe I want to add something above there instead. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. I'm trying to think through any potential issues we need to address with our login flow here. I don't think there is. Yeah, okay, let's just work on styling this for now. Okay, we can get rid of this. I don't need to save that. Our UI is primarily what we're working on, so that is in the main module, the app, main. So we have a nav bar here, we have the left nav, we got a username. That's why we were complaining, because it was trying to save the claims as the user. That's why that was complaining earlier. So left nav, we're actually going to, from our onboarding, we're going to take this linear gradient that we created, and we're going to put that under the left nav for the background instead. I don't want 90 degrees. I want like, let's see, what would we do? 90 would be right to left. So 170 would be left to right. We'd want to do like 270. Let's try that. Not a huge fan of that, but that's okay. Let's just try and take our one color here. We're overcomplicating this with a gradient. Yeah, that color looks kind of nice just for now. Okay, so we'll say left nav, we'll do user name, font weight, say bold, size, how about 48px to start, or EM? I don't even know what EM really is used for. I know it's kind of the preferred thing. It's because it doesn't change things. I don't know. Let's go. I'm going to close out my script here because I don't really need that right now. So button is log out. We'll do span div, I guess, here. Div class equals bigger. Need the name to be bigger. Do it like 72 pixels. How about that? No, don't like that apparently. No, not take a screenshot. Inspect. Username 72. Font size. There we go. That's what I was after. 48's even too big. 32px. No, we'll do about 22px. Yeah, it looks kind of nice. And there's a way that we can... justify. Let's add a user picture in here too. So div class. I guess this can be moved over here. User profile. Let's go into Invato elements. See if I can find it. Or I don't know. I guess I don't need to do that. We'll just look up. Isn't there a flat images source? Just free. Free pick flat icon. Flat icon? I don't think that's what we're looking for. Undraw. Yeah, I think this is what somebody had recommended. Wonder if they have just like a generic profile image in here. Try and search, I guess. There we go, this will work. Default profile. I think I could just reference that by that's my logo. I don't even know why that's doing in there. My logo, which I don't really use anymore. Okay, main.view. Let's do img src equals, I think I can do assets default profile. No, I don't like that. There we go. User profile, we'll do a max image fluid, I think is what we want to set this name to. Class equals image fluid. And we'll say for the user profile, is that going to size it automatically? Yeah, it sizes it automatically. Let's edit this guy up a little bit. Or you know what? I think I can download the SVG instead. Save that file. Whip out Illustrator here. Alright, let's try this again now. So we're going to get rid of this guy here. Delete that guy. Yep. And I have another version of that, which is now a PNG with a transparent background. Let's rename this to default profile. Okay, now let's take a look and see what this looks like. No, not Chrome. Firefox. Okay, it looks all right, but it's way big. So let's set a max, not username, user image profile. What did I set that to? User profile. And we'll say max height, max width is, what do we want to do? We want to do like 100px. Let's see, start there, see how we look. It's too small. Hold on, this font size is 22px, I think I set here. Max width, that's too small. Let's just bump it up by 50 and see what this looks like. It's a nice size, I think. We're going to want to center this information. So let's do, we're going to move this guy over here. You know what? I don't think we want to do that, actually. What I'm going to do instead here is I'm going to do a span. And we'll do class equals logout. I don't even know if I need that. Yeah, I guess I do. Class equals logout. Span. And we'll do, we're going to wrap this whole thing inside of an A tag. href equals just a hash and an @click equals logout. And we'll close out the A tag there. We don't have anything inside of there. Okay, but let's go to Font Awesome. No, I don't want Font Awesome 6. I want free icons. Start for free. I don't install Font Awesome View. Okay, introduction, installation, free solid SVG. I guess these three they want us to do. Fort Awesome. I don't know. Let's try it. I don't know that I want to do this. Extra packages for something I can just add a quick ref to from a CDN. Okay, install that. I wonder if in the build process it will eliminate any SVGs or any icons I don't use. Yeah, I know I need to audit this thing. npm run dev again. And let's see, how do we use this? Oh, I remember doing this. This is kind of a pain in the butt to get set up. Yeah, but this is what does that. I think using this here will let you only pick and choose which of these you want to use. So this way, it will only include the ones you absolutely need to inside of your Vue app. So I'm gonna come and add this guy here. Library.add. So here's our library. Awesome icon. That compiles. So then I think I can do. I'm just gonna continue reading the documentation. All right, so it says do that, and then we can do font awesome icon like this, and then icon user secret. we're done modifying a lot of these and fudging these tokens, but I still need to Brian Morrison 2 and active account. I still need it just for login. This is easy. If I'm going to test this locally, I need to do it here because this is where all my data is, as opposed to doing it up in the AWS Cognito. Well, let me go here and find out what that account is. The active account is 2AA, which is this guy here. Like that, and let's go. There we go. Now we're logged out. We have an icon there. So I want to change this to a different icon. I want a logout icon. Yeah, like this guy right here. Sign out alt. Now I know it's not going to find it. I think that's all we need to do. FAS user secret. What does this look like? I'm guessing sign out alt, maybe. There we go. That's what I'm looking for there. So, and let's change that a little bit too. So, actually, I'm going to see if I can get rid of the span. I don't really think I need it now that I'm thinking about this. But I can put the class name there because that's where we're going to use our modifier CSS with. Get rid of our span here. Okay, style still looks okay. Everything's in line the way that I want it to be. So on the left-hand side under user there, we'll say, let's see, logout btn, we'll say. Set the hover decoration to none, so this way it doesn't highlight when I hover over it. Okay, cool. Actually, we're going to change this to no, not 333, I think I like. Make it kind of a light gray. We're going to make the size a little bit smaller too, I think. So instead of we'll do font size. We're at 22 pixels, so we'll do 18 pixels, make it a little bit smaller. There you go. That lines up pretty nice too. And then when we hover over it, instead of decoration none, we'll say color. There you go. So that'd be like that. I'm not sure I like that yet, but we'll go with it. And then also I want to do user info. And we're going to pop all these guys out here because we're going to wrap this whole damn thing in another div. I know styling is not the most, like it's not the coolest and most interesting thing. Maybe to some people it is, though. Okay, and we will do, let's see, user info. We'll do, damn, I forgot how to do this. I guess I could probably put this thing inside of a row too, huh? I know it's the old trick I used to do to try and make this thing meant to center things, but I know it doesn't work that much anymore. So info, okay, it already spans the whole thing. So we want the inside content to center though. So maybe we do make that a row. And we'll just use the same stuff we use from our onboarding form. Row, justify MD center. Okay, there we go. It lined up pretty nicely, huh? And then after this, we're gonna do, I'm just gonna add an HR there just for showing things split up. No, not under username. There you go, add a little break there with some padding. Okay, that's good. So we'll do, for dashboard, these all need to be turned into items. I suppose I don't even need, yeah, I guess class equals menu list. So our user, okay, our user info is pretty solid. I like that so far. Minimize that. I don't want to see that out there anymore if I don't have to. Jeez, okay, stop. So then instead of user info, we'll do menu list. I think it's decoration. List decoration? List style? None? Right? Yeah, that removes our dots over on the left-hand side. Okay, so these are all going to be, let's see, I need to add some padding to here, so we'll do font size, you can probably be 22px. Padding, we'll do high margin, I guess. We'll do 5px on the top and 5 pixels on the top and bottom, and 0 on the side. Some weird lights outside. Okay. And these are going to be links as well. Except, I think for, let's see, router. Let's look up and see what router links look like in Vue. I forget. Vue router link. Oh, there you go, just like that. Router link. Guess I could do home. I like home better, I think, better than dashboard. We'll add some icons next to them as well. And settings, I think we'll put all the way to the bottom. Oh, I get rid of my logout image up top too. Or a logout button, I'm sorry. User profile, we're gonna add some, I'm gonna add my logo to the top here as well. Div class equals logo. Logo here. That's interesting. Why did it do that? Oh, I added inside of user info? Oh, get out of there. Yeah, logo there. You know what actually I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take this whole thing and wrap it into put it inside of a different component. Make things a little more easier, cleaner, and organized. So that will link to home. Let's get this here. Actually, we're going to just copy and paste this whole thing. Let's see. I know at least shipments and customers I need. So shipments, customers. Save that. That will go to shipments. This will go to customers. Okay, we've got our links on the left-hand side. Let's try and spruce these up a bit. We'll do a hover decoration Text decorations, none. Let's see, A. Actually, no, we're gonna do that. Say color. Triple threes, I like. Okay. And we'll do N hover. Do that white as well so we can see when we're hovering on the thing. And let's add some icons to there as well. So font icon, let's do home. Home should be easy enough. Just FA customer? No, FA user. And FA box. Actually want to see what these things look like. User looks like, oh, that's perfect. Users actually is what I want. The users. And we'll see what box looks like. Box I like. I could deal with box. Close onboarding, get rid of that. I don't need that open either. Okay, so font awesome icon. I like it, but I gotta see what these look like, 'cause I don't like how big those things are. So that is an A. SVG class is FA home. Actually, what I might do is I might just wrap that icon into something in a different class. Let's say class equals menu icon. Let's see what that does for us. It added menu icon to the SVG, so that's cool. That's what we want. Okay, copy this down here. Paste, paste. Menu icon, and then for our logout button, we set the size to 18 pixels, so we're going to do the same here. So A under list, I could just do it like that. Font size 18 pixels. Is 18? I think 16 pixels looks nicer. And we're going to add some padding to the right. Padding right. About 2 pixels. 5 pixels. Actually, it looks like it's shrinking them. Yeah, it is shrinking them, probably because they're inside of a container. So we'll do path SVG. We'll do span, and then we'll add a. We'll put the names inside of a span. And then we'll grab the span and do that inside of there. Then we'll add a padding to the left. So inside of here, span, padding left. I think let's do 3 pixels. Start there. I like it, but I do notice the spacing is different. So I'm going to have to say, what's this at? What's this width here? Inspect. It is 18 by 16. Looks like 18 wide. It's 18 wide. So what then is my next one? Because that padding does not look 16 by 16. So I got to make sure the width of these are 18. Width. There you go. That aligns those a little bit nicer. Padding left direction, I'll bump this up to 7 to space those out a little bit more. And let's fix the name of our things here. So this is shipments, and this is customers. Save that. Okay, that looks kind of nice. I like that. So now let's add these components in. So I'm going to get rid of, I'm actually going to rename this to home and break a whole lot of things along the way. Home. Repurpose that there, and then inside of here, enter my scripts. Since I updated the name of the component. Oh, hold on. No, the router I gotta fix. So inside of router, instead of dashboard, we'll do home, and we'll set that to home. And it looks like I already have the outline for specific info here. So we'll do that, and then we're also gonna do shipment and shipment ID. Actually, we're not going to do the ID ones, the specific shipment information yet. So we won't do the specific customer information yet. We'll just get the basics of it going. And you can see underneath where I had app customers. So we're going to change this to, we're going to say a new folder, customers, and then inside of there we'll do index.view. And then inside of here, we'll do shipments. And we'll name index.view. I probably could name it shipments list or something like that, but we'll this is fine for now. Actually, no, I like that. I like list.view. How about shipments list? Be explicit, right? Nope, not home. Shipments list and customers list. I guess shipment list and customer list without the plural sounds a little bit nicer. Naming's hard. Naming of this stuff is sometimes one of the hardest things you're going to do, just to make sure it makes sense. Okay, so customers, I have customer list.view and I have shipment list. See, shipments. I can do shipment list and customer list, because you can call these routes by name too. And for customers, we'll do shipments and shipment list. I want to change this to history mode instead too. So I get rid of this little hash mark up here. Let's refresh our page. And let's get rid of that too. Yeah, so okay, that gets rid of the hash mark. I had the hash mark in there already. I disabled history mode because when I was doing this in Azure, it liked that there, and I don't know why. Actually, I do know why. I remember. You couldn't have. I couldn't use the. Basically, set up a rule inside of storage blob for redirecting, basically accommodating if something came in at a child route, just redirect it to index.view and then let it handle it. It's like the storage account didn't allow those options, whereas S3 does. And then on top of that, Azure CDN wanted me to pay more money to use their redirect rules in conjunction with using a token. I don't remember the specifics behind that, but it's something along those lines. Like there was a compatibility issue. All right, so we got home, we got shipments, we got customers. Settings we're not going to worry about right now, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop settings to the bottom, just put a little gear icon there, so we can get rid of shipments list is to view, just default view. Let's see, div class equals shipment list, and we'll just say shipment list. Export, the name is going to be shipment list, and style we can leave blank. So we're basically going to copy this into here. We'll do customer list and customer list and customer list. Okay, nothing's broke yet. But now, actually, you know what? I think these should work. Yep, shipment list customers doesn't show anything. Why does it not show anything? Router. Home should get us back there. Okay, so we got 2 of them. Why is not this one not showing up? It's not liking that for some reason. Customers, customer list, module app, customers, customer list.view. Customers, customer list.view. Oh, there we go. I didn't save the router. All right, so that's looking a little bit cleaner. I'm gonna actually we'll finish this right now. We're gonna add a flex box. We'll pop this guy down to the bottom. And we'll basically call our nav done-ish. I'm gonna add a small logo up top, but I don't have a logo yet, so well, I'm gonna add a to-do there. Why not? To-do under main. Put to-do. Put a logo there. I think by next week I should have a logo. I got one sketched out, but I need to have it. I need to either do it myself or I need to have somebody kind of clean it up. I'm pretty artistic. I'm pretty good when it comes to Photoshop, but sometimes it's easier just finding somebody else to do it. So router view. We don't want to do router view. We'll do. Let's see, log out. I guess this whole thing needs to be wrapped. The whole nav needs to be wrapped inside of a div, right? Which it should be. Left nav. Well, this will do display flex. Break everything. That's cool. Flex direction. Row, because everything's a row. Flex boxes and grids are something I do not do terribly well with, if I'm being entirely honest. Menu lists can be. Let's see, why is this not doing this? Actually, the whole thing's a row. I think I need columns instead of row. Okay, we're back to normal. So now we need to add. I'm going to add another deal in here. So menu list. We're going to get rid of these 2 items. And let's add a div here. I'm actually gonna get rid of this here, and I'm gonna go and put this inside of here instead. And quite honestly, I guess I really don't even need it to be a list. I don't know that that's even a thing, really. I probably could just add my router links. That break anything? No, it didn't. My HR is gone. It doesn't link that there. That's okay. Actually, we'll add some stuff to the bottom there. So under user info, we'll add I'll fix that in a little bit. Let's get rid of our list here if we don't need it. Oh, that screwed things up royally. Okay, never mind. We'll put those back. We'll leave it all by itself, but yeah, we'll do that. That's fine. Whatever. That's fine. That works for now. All right. So for menu list, I've got my HR back there, but I don't really necessarily want that in there. So let's do that. And we'll say for user info. User info, we'll do border bottom, 1px solid, what, 777? Doesn't like anything less than 1. And we actually, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to inspect this. I think I got a color dropper in here. Let's do this and do color picker. I'm going to make it the same color, but a little bit lighter. Just do ever so slightly lighter like this. And that should make it pop. Okay, that's too much lighter. Okay, that's not light enough. Yeah, that looks all right. So we'll add padding, bottom, 5px. Well, I'm gonna bring this over here so I can just see this refresh in real time. Oh, actually, I can do this. Inspect, user info, padding bottom. I think 15 there is good. So we'll set this to 15. And then for my menu icon, or no, for my menu list, we'll do padding top. And we'll do 15px. Yeah, kind of make that a little bit cleaner. Actually, we're going to bump this up to 20. 25. 25 looks like the winner. I like that. Okay, and last thing, class equals settings, nav settings. Probably is a good one, and we'll find probably a gear one we could just use. So under main.js, we'll add, let's see, fa gear. Really? There's no gear built in there? Okay, font awesome gear. Cog. It's cog, not gear. Okay, so we've added our cog back to the menu. We're going to put this right here. Cog. And COG. Okay, so we have this right here. So our link's there. But we got to bring it to the bottom. I'm actually going to add this inside of I'm going to cheat here, and to match the styling, I'm going to add this inside of a list as well. So we'll bring that guy up there. Like that, just so this way it can kind of get some of the same, at least that there, same spacing. Close that again, and let's reset this guy back up. I'm actually going to settings, copy most of this from here. There we go. And let's see, Flexbox. Let's see how we can bring this guy to the bottom. Flexbox, put item at bottom. Align an element to the bottom. Flex end, I think I saw. Okay, so link button. Align self flex end. Let's see if this works. Okay, that flexed it to the bottom, or to the right rather. I know there's a way to do this. I've done this before. Display flex column. I think maybe I need another flex box inside there with a flex column. Because I'm at row right now, aren't I? Oh no, I'm flex column. I'm backtracking on some of the stuff that I did here. Because what I'm thinking I want to do is, instead of actually having a link there, really just want the cog. That's all I want right there, just like that. And then if I can bring that down to the bottom. Position... I'd rather not use position absolute because I don't want it to... I don't want it to mess with the responsiveness of the app. Oh, what am I doing? Flex none likes it at the bottom. Also everything towards the top and then at the bottom. Oh, I see. Okay. So if I wrap this whole thing inside of a, like I've been doing like an upper content and lower content. You know what, then I don't think I need to do anything there. Just set my upper and then flex one and flex none. right, so left nav, we'll do upper. Okay, that kind of did it. Look, it's all the way in the bottom left now. Okay, so now I can do nav settings. We'll do font size. I think the rest are 18px, so we'll set that to 18. Right? Menu icon. I think SVG menu icon. Why aren't you showing? Oh, because we're not upper, we're like that. Or are we one more out? No, that should be it. Did I get rid of menu icon? It is 18px. Let's bring this up a little bit. I kind of like that for now. That's fine. All right, so let's change this to, let's test the responsiveness actually. Okay, so it does shrink things in. That needs to be fixed. We can fix that at some point. Actually, I think that's because I have the justify MD. But if I did that, it'd probably fix it. Oh no, wow. Just do it for all. There we go. I'm going to need to set this up so this way it'll collapse off to the left-hand side when it's not being displayed or something. But no, that looks good. I like that so far. Okay. And now let's just set this up to settings. And we'll say we don't need anything there. And let's update our router. Add another route. To settings. I don't need a separate component for settings. I don't think yet. Well, maybe later, but not right now. New file settings.view. Let's grab our what we got here, paste that. Let's do settings, settings, and finally settings. Okay, all right. So we've got our left menu all set up and nice and working well. Okay, so now. I don't really know how I want to lay this out quite yet. I eventually would like to make this kind of a quick here's how you see where everything is or the status of things, but we're gonna have to get some shipments and customers working first. Customers come before shipments for sure. Maybe that's the last thing we'll do tonight. We'll get we'll get at least something set up where we can display customers and create customers. So let's add a top nav bar in our customer list view. Or we'll just add a button actually. Just custom. Actually, this is going to be a router link too, because we'll create a new view that shows. No, actually, this could be a display. This could be a dialog that pops up. So a href equals like that, and click equals display show new customer dialog. Like that, and we'll do our methods display new customer dialog. And we're going to want to display a modal here. So I'm going to have to, I think when I've done this before, I've added modals to the bottom of the DOM and then just use this to display them directly using jQuery and Bootstrap. So we'll do this. We'll wire up the modal first. So let's create a new file again. New customer modal. And then inside of customer list, we can do import new customer modal like that. And we'll say components. I think that's an array. This might break if so. It's interesting. Why isn't it displaying? Gotta kill the dev server and start it back up again. Oh, there we go. Yeah, okay, it seemed to work. All right, so we got a link. We're gonna add in just before the last div. We're gonna say new customer modal. Close that guy out. So nothing's displayed here yet, but if I do, let's see, how did this click event wire up? Oh yeah, it's by JavaScript. I don't know that I want it as jQuery that's being used there. I do modal.show. Let's take a look at the modal itself. I want to see if there is a show, like a displayed or not. Area hidden is true. No, that's not what I'm looking for. I really don't want to use JavaScript to do this. Or, well, I do, but I mean, I don't want to use jQuery to do it. I'd rather see if there's a way that somehow I can pass something into here that displays it. I guess I don't have to use jQuery. I can use document.querySelector, right? I probably could just make this a component itself and pass the HTML. No, I don't want to pass the HTML in. Okay, so when I click that, how can I trigger this thing to go? I wonder if there's a way that I can pass a property into here to make it displayed. Let's see, example modal, tab index, role dialog. Because basically what I need to do is I need to call into the modal to display it. All right. I actually think this is a good stopping point. I'm losing steam pretty quickly now, and that's why I'm kind of staring at my screen, to be entirely honest. It's usually the first sign, and we've made a lot of progress. I've got my onboarding flow working, which happened much quicker than I was even anticipating. I think I crunched out, or breezed through it right. And we also did some good styling over here too. So I mean, this is a start. There's still a lot of work to do here. I've got to get a way for you to create customers and also sync customers up at Square. And then finally, the last thing is create shipments and generate labels. And then once that's done, what I plan to do next, because the whole point of this is like, I want people to be able to generate labels through this system and then have a service running on a computer or server, whatever, that hooks up to a printer and then just spits the labels out. Like I don't even want the user to have to worry about having to manually print them. I mean, give them the option to do so, but I don't want it. So the next thing I want to do after the UI is polished and everything's tested and working for creating shipments and labels is we're going to forward those labels off to an SQS queue, which a separate service written in .NET Core is going to be subscribed to, and when that service receives the message for the label, it's going to reach out, grab the label, and just spit it out. Luckily, I have a Dymo printer that I can use to test a lot of these things, so we might get to actually it's like real-world testing. But yeah, cool. I think I'm going to call it for now. My next video for the Node.js API series is coming out on Monday, so stay tuned for that. You can also find content on my website that complements that, repositories, all that stuff. Make sure to check the links in the description. And I will see you next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Central. Follow me on Twitter if you're interested in hearing more about this stuff, at BrianMMDev. And yeah, join the Discord to meet some other developers and learn some cool stuff, and I don't know, chat with me directly. So with that, I'm Brian. Have a good night.